How's it going, everyone? Mega Mashers here, and it's finally time to introduce Rate My Team series. Now, a quick disclaimer before I get on with this video. For Rate My Team videos, these will not feature just my teams. These will feature teams that you, the viewers, and you, the followers, shall submit to me. So if you have a team idea that you would like to have reviewed, then please feel free to send it to me, and I will feature it in a future upload. All I ask is that you explain in detail what each role that each Pokemon has. So, with that being said, how about we get underway with this team, and it is built around Mega Manectric and Weavile. So let's go. So allow me to introduce to you the first member of this epic team. I just want to give a shout out to my friend Larry Bud Craig, who allowed me the honor of featuring his team on my channel. So big shout out to him. And the guy is a wizard when it comes to making teams. Like, him, along with my buddy Darius and many others in Pokemon Central, know their stuff. They know what they're doing. So, the item for choice for a Manectric is going to be its Manectite to allow it to achieve Mega Evolution in battle. As for the ability, its pre-evolution ability is going to be Lightning Rod, because say if you switch into a predicted electric attack, what Lightning Rod does is it absorbs the electric attack, and you get that free +1 special attack boost. So hell yeah, we're going to be going with Lightning Rod. And its post-evolution ability is going to be Intimidate, and Intimidate screws with physical attackers. Unless they have Defiant, like Bisharp, then, well, that's going to be a problem. But no worries. As for the EV spread, 252 is going to go into special attack, 4 into special defense, and 252 into speed. And we'll be going with Intimidator to maximize your speed and your overall offensive capabilities. So the first move that we have is Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a must, as it is a very strong electric attack that punishes anything that doesn't resist it. Next, we have Volt Switch as a slightly weaker electric attack, but the added benefit is it allows for you to not only be a scout, but you also get a free switch to a teammate that can otherwise take a hit that Mega Manectric may not be able to. Up next, we have Flamethrower. Flamethrower is also a must on this set, because what this does is it punishes bulky Steel-type Pokemon such as Scizor, Mega Scizor, and Ferrothorn. So Flamethrower is a must. Plus, it also helps out with dealing with Weavile's weaknesses, too, that being to Steel. And lastly, we have Hidden Power Ice. Hidden Power Ice deals 4 times super effective damage to the likes of Garchomp, Salamence, Dragonite, and those Pokemon are absolutely threatening. But this right here, Mega Manectric, is overall an amazing Pokemon. If you haven't ever used this guy, I highly recommend you use it. And I'm actually thinking about using this guy along with this entire team. It looks pretty damn sexy. So before I go on any further about this video, I want to apologize if my voice doesn't sound up to par and therefore take away from the video. I'm not feeling the best. Like, my throat is absolutely fucked up. I feel sore all over. But I made a commitment to you guys to push out content daily, and I want to finish this video and upload it. That way it'll give you guys something to watch until I upload next, which hopefully won't be too much longer. But getting back to the main point of the video, our next member is going to be Weavile. And Weavile goes very well with Mega Manectric due to the fact that Weavile gets rid of the Lottie twins as well as Tyranitar, which otherwise would give Mega Manectric huge problems. And this is how it's done. So the item for choice for Weavile is going to be Life Orb. And Life Orb, at the cost of 10% of your health, you gain a 30% power boost to all of your moves. And considering that Weavile is a glass cannon, this item works very well for this Pokemon. The next thing that we'll talk about is its ability. The ability is going to be Pressure, and what Pressure does is it doubles the consumption of your opponent's power points in their moves. So this is really beneficial if they are moves that don't have that many power points and they heavily rely on them. So the EV spread is going to be 252 into its attack, 4 into defense, and 252 into speed. And we'll go with the Jolly nature. That way you can further boost your speed and therefore increasing your overall offensive potential. So the first move that I'd like to talk about is Icicle Crash. Icicle Crash is basically a buffed up ice type version of Rock Slide that has base 85 power, 90% accuracy, and it has a 30% chance to flinch. And in my opinion, it's better than Ice Punch, even though Ice Punch is more consistent when it comes to its perfect accuracy. I would much prefer the slight increase in its power and that nifty chance of causing your opponents to flinch. So the next move that we have is Knockoff, and Knockoff on Weavile is like, it's milk. Like, not only is it stab, but it gets that life orb boost, and it also gets that boost in terms of knocking off your opponent's held items, therefore they cannot be used anymore in battle. So that's always nice. And Dark and Ice type moves actually go very nice together, and there's very little type combinations that could resist it. The next move that we have is Ice Shard, and what Ice Shard does is it provides you with priority in your move set. It's base 40, it's Ice type, it's physical, and like I said, it's priority, so this is a great way to pick off weakened opponents. And this definitely is great for picking off faster threats such as Scarfed Garchomp, Scarfed Landorus, uh, you know, Dragonite, all those guys. Those that are seriously threatening but 4 times weak to ice. And lastly, to deal with the likes of Tyranitar, we have Low Kick. Low Kick is a move that is of the fighting type, and its base power depends on the weight of your opponent's Pokemon. So if they are not that heavy, it's not going to do that much damage, but the base damage will increase to a maximum of 120 if they happen to weigh the amount of weight that it would require for the 120 to take effect. And because Tyranitar is extremely heavy, then, well, it's going to be a one-shot for Tyranitar thanks to Weavile's Low Kick. So there you have it, guys. You have the offensive core of Mega Manectric and Weavile. They both deal with each other's weaknesses and deal with the Pokemon that they struggle against. So with that being said, how about we introduce you to the rest of the MVPs of the team. So the next Pokemon I'd like to introduce you to on this team is going to be Jirachi. And basically what Jirachi does is it performs that very annoying role of being that very haxy paraflincher, but in this situation, we're not going to be going with paraflinching. However, this set is tailor-made to deal with the likes of Clefable, which would otherwise give this team a ton of trouble. So the item for choice for Clefable, for Jirachi, is going to be Leftovers to allow you to have passive recovery at the end of each turn, and it goes very well with the bulky set like Jirachi. As for the EV spread, 252 is going to go into its HP, 96 into its attack, and 160 into its speed. So we kind of are breaking up the EV spread between the attack and the speed in this situation because you want to have enough speed investment to outspeed a certain number of threats, and with 96 attack with an adamant nature, you're hitting 286. So that is some pretty decent attack power right there. And I can't believe I completely skipped over its ability, but it only has one ability, that being Serene Grace, and Serene Grace is a very, very nice ability for Jirachi because this Pokemon has a lot of moves that have a secondary effect, and Serene Grace doubles the chances of secondary effects of those respective moves to take place. So the first move that we have is Substitute, and Substitute allows for you to make a decoy of yourself at 25% of at the cost of 25% of your health, but it shields you from the likes of insanely powerful attacks that would otherwise destroy Jirachi, and it also protects you from the likes of status moves, so that's also very nice. And that's another reason for the speed investment is so that you can be a somewhat faster Pokemon to set up a safe substitute, that way you won't be statused right then and there. The next move that we have is Toxic. Toxic is a great way for wearing down threats that would otherwise terrorize this team. Toxic inflicts badly poisoned status, which means that it increases in damage after every turn. So, in theory, after 6 turns, you essentially die from poisoning, unless, of course, you get switched out. So, the next move that we have is Iron Head. Iron Head for Jirachi is a must. Iron Head is a solid base 80 steel type move on the physical side. Not to mention it also has that 30% chance of causing your opponents to flinch. But with Serene Grace, it doubles to 60, so it's very hard to break through the flinching hacks with Serene Grace. And lastly, we have Fire Punch, because what this does is it deals with bulky Steel-type Pokemon such as Scizor, Mega Scizor, and Ferrothorn, which would otherwise be a thorn in your side, no pun intended, because of Ferrothorn. But yeah, this right here is starting to come together, and I am liking this team more and more the further I review it. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. So the next team member I would like to introduce you to is Breloom. The purpose for Breloom is to punish sand abusers such as Excadrill and Tyranitar, which would otherwise steamroll this entire team. And as for the item of choice, we are going to be going with Expert Belt. Expert Belt is a item that boosts the power of super effective moves by 20%. Not to mention this also bluffs Focus Sash, which could actually mess with your opponent's head. I remember I bluffed an Expert Belt Greninja in battle, and people were expecting a choice set, but I mopped the floor with them. But that was way before Greninja got banned. Anyways, so the next thing I want to talk about is the ability. The ability in this situation is going to be Technician, and what Technician does is it gives a 50% boost to moves that have a base power of 60 or below. So this right here is very abusable thanks to the likes of Bullet Seed and Mach Punch. Bullet Seed is a multiple striking attack, 2 to 5 turns with base 25 power, and Mach Punch is priority, and it deals 40 base damage. So those get a 50% increase in the power of their moves. So you just think about that. Wrap your head around that for a second. As for the EV spread, 252 is going to go into its attack, 4 into defense, and 252 into speed, and we'll go with the Jolly Nature to further maximize your offensive potential. So the first move that we have is Spore. Spore on a Breloom is a must. This move has a 100% accuracy and will put your opponents to sleep, unless of course they're either a grass-type Pokemon or if they have some ability that blocks sleep, such as Insomnia. This is a great opportunity to not only cause mega frustrations for your opponents, but it allows for you to set up in Swords Dance, which is its next move. Swords Dance is a move that boosts your attack by 2 stages, and with base 130 attack with full investment, after a Swords Dance and a potential boost from Expert Belt if you hit super effectively, you are going to be dealing with a ton of damage. Not to mention this set also helps deal with the likes of Mega Gyarados, which is also another problem on this team. So the next move that we have is Bullet Seed. What Bullet Seed does, like I said, it's a multi-strike move that hits 2 to 5 times in a row. And it's a great way to break through things like Focus Sash, Sturdy, and Substitutes. And it's also a grass-type move. So if you get all 5 hits, think about that for a sec. So it's base 25 power for every hit. It hits 5 times, that's base 125 power right there. And you multiply that by 50%, that is 187.5, I believe. So that's a lot of power, plus factor in stab, and the Expert Belt boost if it's super effective. So that's insane. And the last move I want to introduce you to is a must on Breloom, that being Mach Punch. And what Mach Punch does is it's base 40 and it's priority and it's fighting, not to mention Technician boosted. So this is definitely a threat that you need to watch out for, and it ties up this team very well. Like I said, I am loving this team more and more, and once I get better, I'm going to try this team out, but I got to Gen 1 first. So let's move on to the next Pokemon. So allow me to introduce you to what is possibly one of the best checks to bird spam, not to mention it also checks Mega Charizard X pretty well, and that's a Landorus Styrian. So the item for choice for Landorus Styrian is going to be Leftovers to allow you to have passive recovery at the end of each turn. The ability that we'll be using is Intimidate, and Intimidate lowers the attack stat of your opponents by 1 stage, therefore making this guy even more bulky, and that's where it goes back to it being a very good bird spam check / counter, as well as a check to Mega Charizard X. As for the EV spread, 248 is going to go into its HP, 252 into its defense, and 8 into speed. Now the reason for the 8 speed is so that if you were up against a Landorus Styrian of the exact same build, but say if they have only, like 4 speed EVs or no speed investment, you will always be able to outpace it. So that's just something to keep in mind. And we'll be going with an Impish Nature to further boost your physical defense. The first move that we have is Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks on Landorus is a must. This allows you to lay out a trap of entry hazards that damage your opponents according to their types. If it's a Pokemon that is weak to Rock-type moves, then Stealth Rocks is going to damage them quite a bit upon switching in. If it's a Pokemon that resists Stealth Rocks, or resist Rock-type moves, sorry, then it's not going to do that much, but it's still something that you should have on the field. The next move that we'll be using is Earthquake. Now, Earthquake, hitting off an uninvestment-based 145 attack with Stab, is still going to hurt like a bitch. And it also checks the likes of Tyranitar and Excadrill. Had to think about that for a second. But this Pokemon is very fantastic to use on this team and really on any team if you think about it. The next move that we have is U-Turn. And what U-Turn does is it works very well with Mega Manectric due to the fact that not only are they the double Intimidate core, but also they form the infamous Volt Turn core, which is also very nice because there's not a single type combination that can resist both electric and bug type moves. Yeah, there's no type combination that can be immune to that. Sorry, not resist it. And lastly, we have Stone Edge. Stone Edge hits bird-type Pokemon very hard. It deals super effective 4 times super effective damage to Talonflame, which would otherwise cause this team huge problems. And it also deals 4 times super effective damage to the likes of Volcarona, too, which I don't see it very often, but it's very deadly and should not be taken lightly. So that's it for Landorus Therian. It's time to move on to the last, but certainly not least, team member. So the last member of this all-star team is Starmie. The purpose for Starmie is to get rid of entry hazards on your side of the field. So you could say it's like entry hazard control. And that's stuff that Pokemon like Weavile and Mega Manectric will not appreciate if they have to switch into entry hazards. So that's why Starmie's here. The item for choice for Starmie is going to be Leftovers to allow you to have passive recovery at the end of each turn. The next thing is its ability. It will be Natural Cure, and what Natural Cure does is it cures you of any status ailments upon switching out. So that is always nice. So this thing will have a hella hard time being outstalled and poison or burn damage. It can just switch out and heal itself up. So the EV spread is going to be 248 into its HP, 16 into its special defense, and 244 into its speed. And we'll go with the Timid Nature to further boost your speed. Now the purpose of this EV spread is so that you can take hits better from both the physical and the special side with maximum HP investment. Not to mention with speed, you will be a very fast supportive Pokemon, so just keep that in mind. Plus, not to mention with the 248 EV spread, it actually significantly cuts the damage that you sustain from entry hazards quite a bit. Because rather than having an even HP number, you have an odd HP number, and that's something that entry hazards have a hard time dealing with. So that's also something to keep in mind too. So the first move that we have is Reflect Type, and what Reflect Type does is it changes your type combination to the type of your opponents. So say if you are against something like a Bisharp, which would completely screw you over, you can just use Reflect Type and change into a Dark and Steel type, and Bisharp won't be able to damage you that much with its Dark and Steel type moves. However, if it has the rare low kick, then, well, you're screwed. The next move that we have is known as Scald, and Scald is a great move that has a 30% chance of burning your opponents. It's also a water-type move, it's special, and it's base 80, which is pretty solid. The next move that we have is Rapid Spin, and this is where the hazard control comes into play. What Rapid Spin does is not only does it cause base 20 damage on the normal side, but it also gets rid of any entry hazards that litter your side of the field. So that's just something that is irreplaceable on Starmie. And lastly, we have Recover for Sustain. Recover heals up your HP by 50%, so that way Starmie will have more staying power in battle. So that's basically all I have to say about Starmie and about this entire team. So there you have it, guys. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video on my first ever Rate My Team. And I want to reiterate my apology for being sick, but when I say that I have a commitment to fulfill, then I'm going to do my best to fulfill it, because I care about you guys, and I want to make sure that I put out content at least on a daily basis that you enjoy, and I'm always open to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys like something that is in my series, then please let me know. If there's something that you wish that I could change, then please let me know. And also, if you want to see something in the near future, then please let me know. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, then please feel free to leave a like and even share this video. It really, really helps my channel out as well as the rest of its contents. If you want to see more videos like the one that you just saw, then hit that subscribe button to join the Mega Express today to become an awesome and valued passenger on this wild ride through the Pokemon world. Also, be sure to leave me your feedback in the comment section down below about this video. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Tell me if you have any ideas on team members that should replace whichever, and for what reason. Please give me a brief description why. Also, be sure to check out Cat's Epic Pokemon Cloning Group, Poketown, and Pokemon Central, which are 3 awesome groups on Facebook that I will leave links to in the description box down below. And lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Larry Bud Craig, who is actually the creator of Pokemon Central. He gave me permission to use this team in my first ever Rate My Team review, so big shout out to him. And based on how well this review went, I actually really like this team, and like I said, when I feel better, I'm going to try it out on Pokemon Showdown and see how well it performs. On paper, it looks like it performs really well, and my guess, in practice, it also performs very well. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please stay tuned for more content. Have a good one. I shall see you guys next upload.